Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Good evening. Well, welcome to the Wednesday night Caitanya-caritāmṛta reading and discussion here with the Prabhupada Disciples Association and the Hare Krishna Society, which was established in 2002 by Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. And we're expanding the mission with the broadcast of these programs. I was looking at our channel yesterday, and we have like about 500 programs that we've recorded. And that's quite a few hours of broadcast of truth, not misrepresentation of truth, which has been propagated by our God brothers who promote the Vapu philosophy that you need a living guru in order to make advancement in spiritual life. It depends on who the Vapu is, Michael. That's the problem. And the particular legislation that was introduced in ISKCON by our God brothers has no record of authorization by Srila Prabhupada. None. It's simply based on their personal motives to establish themselves as successful preachers in that society. So that we refer to it as prophet adoration and distinction. And that's in the Shastras, that people see it that way. And it's been recorded in history that this has been a fake guru system that has caused many people to be misled by these people. And not only that, they also misrepresent or change the philosophy to justify their purpose. Just remove Tri Loka Vijaya off the main screen, please. So this is the unfortunate situation that we're in. It's a misinformation society. I'm referring to it because I'm currently working on the preface to our book, The Complete Guide to Self-Realization, which is a total explanation, introduction into Krishna consciousness based on the authoritative books of Srila Prabhupada without any change or adulteration. And this is key to understanding Krishna consciousness. It's not a small point, Michael. It's the main point. Have the association of a pure devotee and take his messages as your life and soul. Only those people who have implicit faith in the spiritual master, all the imports of the spiritual world become revealed. But that's the key. It's not a compromise situation. And anybody that compromises for personal ambition, this is a great sin. It's a mistake. And we want all of our members to understand this and continually preach to others this truth. Truth is really what everyone is searching for, the absolute truth, actually. And they're also wanting to know how to get to the platform of Krishna consciousness. And it is only possible by the association of a bona fide spiritual master. People criticize us. I know that. Even people that are with us or were with us, they fault find us. Oh, you shouldn't preach that way. This isn't the way Prabhupada wanted you to preach. Some neophyte said that to me. Of course, that happens. Everybody has an opinion, especially a neophyte. And he's entitled to his opinion, but that's an offense, a great offense. It's called hatimata, the mad elephant offense for people that are dedicating themselves to the mission of Srila Prabhupada to protect his legacy, and then they're telling us, that? You don't know how to preach? Okay, we're not very good preachers, all right. And we have made mistakes. Okay, let's accept it. But at least amongst our group, there should be a solidified campaign to support each other and push this movement on as a team. That's it. We forgive each other. We're compassionate. But attack? No, that's a mistake. So that goes on in the material world. It's everywhere. It's not just here, it's everywhere. Everybody is criticizing everything and everything. Everything. That's the way of the life of a materialistic man or woman. We're going to go to the diaries today. We're going to read. We're at an addendum section of the book, the back end of the book. And this is an excerpt from a morning walk conversation with His Divine Grace in New York on July 12th, 1976. Well, that's very interesting. This seems to be, Yaśodā-nandana would know better, but this seems to be, at the same time, what Nityānanda program was going on in New York. It seems to be the same dates. And I was there in New York for that, by the way. 12 of us went down in a van, drove down in a van to New York City. There was no windows, there were no seats, but it was a van and we didn't get killed, thank God. Tamal Krishna. This is 72nd Srila Prabhupada. Yes, I know, Prabhupada says. Tamal, you were going to show us that building. Prabhupada, yes, just on the corner of Amsterdam and 72nd. That means next street, Romeshwar. They say when you go to the spiritual kingdom, you keep your same wife and your same children. That is their idea of marriage. Well, that's a bizarre question. Where the heck did he come up with that? Prabhupada, this is Amsterdam. Prabhupada just ignores it. What's that, please? Tamal Krishna, no, Columbus Avenue. Next is Amsterdam. Devotee, you walked here, Srila Prabhupada. Romeshwar, right here is a number 100. Prabhupada, here is. Devotee, there is 100. Tamal Krishna, that's the building, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, yes. Devotee, yes. It says Watergate Hotel. Tamal Krishna, which floor did you live on? Prabhupada, and I was trying to purchase one house here. So, Tamal repeats, which floor did you live on, Prabhupada? Huh. I guess he wants an answer. I think third floor. And there was an electrician. He was my friend, one Jewish gentleman. Devotee, you would walk on the street? Yes, Prabhupada says. This is one building with a temperature, a gauge. Here it is. This is Broadway. I was taking bath here in a station. Sometimes I was taking the station. I think this building is new. I was going to Dr. Mishra's apartment for cooking. So, see this, Mother Ruchisha. Prabhupada's using a public washroom to bathe himself. What a start, eh? What an amazing, amazing start to this mission by the pure devotee. What street did he live on? Prabhupada, he, 78th, the Riverside corner. Yes, I was purchasing my goods from this store. Devotee, West End Superette. They were charging, Prabhupada said, a little chili powder, 25 cents. In India, it may be 1 ara. That's like a penny or less than. Anna, excuse me. Tamal Krishna, you were purchasing here? Yes, because I was going to cook my food there, so whatever I needed, I used to. And then Tamal comes in. How come you didn't cook your food where you were living? Obviously, you didn't know much about Prabhupada's background. Huh? There was no place. Tamal Krishna asked this question. What was it like there? Prabhupada, it was an office room. That building is meant for office, not residence. Tamal Krishna, you rented a room there? Yes, I was paying $72 a month. Go ahead. Thank you. Pull it up if you can. Thanks. Thank you, Ram Raghava. Tamal Krishna, where did you sleep? Was there a bed? Prabhupada, no, there was bed. There is toilet and water, but no bath and no cooking. So Prabhupada is telling us how he lived. Did you have to go there to, etc., bathe also? Yes, I was taking bathing there. Tamal Krishna, where did you sleep on the floor? Yes, Prabhupada said I had a little platform, so on that platform. Tamal Krishna, you are the most bold person in the whole world, Prabhupada. True. This is something that young men do, not men of 70 years of age, living an adventurous life like this. But Prabhupada was a youthful adventurer. Alone, I was doing that, and then gradually one or two boys began to come. From Tamal, did any of them come up here who are still with you now? No. Just see, people come and go. Ram Rakha, that's what the game is. People come and go. Almost everybody that was with Prabhupada is either, in the early days, is either blooped or died or gone away. Only when you went downtown did the permanent men come. No one was visiting you up here. Hare Griva? No, they came there, 2nd Avenue, Harisori Mukunda. Prabhupada, all of them, Prabhupada. That's strange how long you were there, Srila Prabhupada. Rupanuga, listen to this. Interesting characters here, eh? Prabhupada, here about 6 months. Then when my things were stolen, when one boy was coming, his name was Paul Murray, misrepresented in the by the Lilamrita as Alan, he invited me, you come to my loft, and he took me to the Bowery. So Prabhupada moved to the Bowery. Devotee. Met that boy in Amherst. He has a boutique, he sells clothing. I met that boy. Okay, so Tamal Krishna, you must have felt very bad when your things were stolen. Prabhupada, yes, I felt a little disappointed. He hardly mentions it in the diaries, by the way. He just passed over it as a little disappointed. Yeah, it's the way things are. When people steal, it's not fun. But did Prabhupada care? No. But some friends, they offered me, never mind you take my typewriter, somebody, you take my tape recorder. Oh, things were very easy here. Sorry, not easy. Radha-Ballava. Krishna always provides facilities. So now they're preaching to Prabhupada, these neophytes. Interesting, eh? Oh yeah, Krishna provides. The boy, I gave him Haridas, who was in San Francisco. Tamal Krishna, yes? Oh, let me see. So there was no difficulty I got from other friends. So when you moved to the loft, the boy, I gave him Haridas, who was in San Francisco, yes, Tamal says. So this Paul Murray, Haridas, left New York. He went to San Francisco. His name was something else. What is it? Tamal Krishna. It's a steel factory. So it's another building. This is near the Rath Yatra carts. Oh, so this is the time that Prabhupada was in New York for Rath Yatra. Prabhupada, oh, steel factory, but a very good house. Tamal, yes, Sorry, Paul Murray, he was the boy that went crazy? Yes, he was LSD man. Tamal Krishna, LSD man, he tried to attack you. Not attack, but he showed some ferocious mood, I thought. Very dangerous. Tamal Krishna, so you thought to leave right away. And Prabhupada says, yes, immediately. You took all of your things and you went away. Yes, I kept with Mukunda, and that boy, Tamal says, was keeping meat in the refrigerator. No. That is another boy, Jürgen. John Jürgens? Go ahead to the next section. There's a beautiful picture of Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, he's back. You were staying with him. Prabhupada, yes. Wow. Your brothers could never believe this. And there was laughter. So I hear that let me look. I got to see if I can see that. So at the time, you did not think that anyone would accept our philosophy. That was certain. At the beginning, I was. Prabhupada, Romeshwar says, Prabhupada was certain that they would accept. And he puts in that final statement. Very interesting conversation, Mother Rochisha? Very insightful, and something that we should meditate on as we move forward this week in our Krishna consciousness. How much Srila Prabhupada was surrendered to his Guru and to Lord Chaitanya, a pure devotee sannyasi from India that gave up everything for the service of his spiritual master. That is Acharya, Founder-Ācārya. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to the Prabhupada Disciples Association, and thank you for attending tonight's program reading. I like that. Give me the fist pump. That's what I like. That's an American. Yeah, that's good. Hare Krishna. Let's go forward with the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava, and then the reading and discussion from the unedited, unchanged, unadulterated books, the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, with His Grace, my godbrother, whom I love so much, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. Haribol.
Sai. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava सदस्यमान भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद से अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Narayanam namaskritya. Narayanam namaskritya. Naram cheva narottamam. Naram cheva narottamam. Devim saraswatim vyasam. Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Tato jayam mudirayat. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam, after offering in Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. From Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta. As mentioned earlier by Vishwakarma Prabhu, this reading is being conducted on the basis of the original, non-edited, non-interpolated, and non-adulterated 1974 version of Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta. All synonyms, translations, and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, Founder-Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. As we do every week, we will be reading a few selected verses from the Adi-lila chapter 1 from text 18 to 22, describing the meaning and the benefit of hearing this powerful transcendental literature. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityānanda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Glory to Sri Chaitanya and Nityānanda. Glory to Advaita Chandra, and glory to all the devotees of Sri Gaura, Lord Chaitanya. Etina Thakur Gaudiya ki Karye Chenayatma Sat. Etinera Charana Vandan Tire Morenat. These three deities of Vrindavan, Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopinatha have absorbed the heart and soul of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, followers of Lord Chaitanya. I worship their lotus feet, for they are the lords of my heart. Grantera Rambi Karimangala Charana. Guru Vaishnav Bhagavan Tinera Smarana. In the beginning of this narration, simply by remembering the spiritual master, the devotees of the Lord, and the personality of Godhead, I have invoked their benedictions. Tinera Smaranayai Vignavinashana Anayasayai Nijavanshita Purana. Such remembrance destroys all difficulties and very easily enables one to fulfill his own desires. Simangala charanoi trivida prakar, vastu nirdesha sirbada namaskara. The invocation involved three processes: defining the objective, offering benedictions, and offering obeisances. We will proceed with a specific verse for today's session. We are reading from the Adi Lila, chapter 5, text number 116. Se Vishnu Yanra Amsam Shira Amsa, Se Prabhu Nityānanda Sarva Avatamsa, say that Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, I is Yanra, whose, Amsha Amshera, of the plenary part, Amsha, part, say that, Prabhu, Lord, Nityānanda, Sarva Avatamsa, the source of all incarnation. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. That Lord Vishnu is but a part of a plenary portion of Lord Nityānanda, who is the source of all incarnations. Purport. The Lord of Shweta-dvipa has immense potency for creation and destruction. Sri Nityānanda Prabhu, being Baladeva himself, the original form of Sankarsana, is the original form of the Lord of Shweta-dvipa. Text 117. Se Vishnu Shesharupe Dharena Dharani, Kan Ache Mani Shiri Ehena Nahi Jani, say that Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, Shesharupe, in form of Lord Shesha, Dharena, carries, Dharani, the planets, Kanha, where, Ache, are, Mahi, the planets, Shire, on the head, Hena Nahi Jani, I cannot understand. Translation. That same Lord Vishnu, in the form of Lord Shesha, holds the planets upon his heads, although he does not know where they are, for he cannot feel their existence upon his heads. Text 118. Sahasra Vishtirna Yandra Panara Mandala, Suryajini Manigana Kare Jalamala, Sahasra, thousands, Vistirna, spread, Yanra, whose, Panara, of the hoods, Mandala, group, Surya, the sun, Jini, conquering, Manigana, jewels, Kare, du, Jala, Mala, glittering. Translation. His thousands of extended hoods are adorned with dazzling jewels, surpassing the sun. Text 119. Panchasat koti yojana prithvi vistar, Yandra ekafane rahe sarshapa akar, Panchasat, 50, koti, 10 millions, yojana, 8 miles, Prithvi, of the universe, Vistara, breadth, Yanra, whose, Ekafane, on one of the hoods, Rahe, stays, Stasharapa Akara, like a mustard seed. Translation. The universe, which measures 500 million yojanas in diameter, rests on one of his hoods like a mustard seed. Purport. The Lord of Shweta-dvipa expends himself as Sheshanaga, who sustains all the planets upon his innumerable hoods. These huge global spheres are compared to grains of mustard resting on the spiritual hoods of Sheshanaga. The scientist's law of gravity is a partial explanation of Lord Sankarsana's energy. The name Sankarsana has an etymological relationship to the idea of gravity. There is a reference to Sheshanaga in the Bhagavad Purana 5:17-21, where it is said, Yamahu rasya stiti janma saryamanam tribir vihinam yamanantam rishayah naveda siddhartam iva kvachit stitam bhumandalam murda sahasradhamashu. O my Lord, the hymns of the Vedas proclaim that you are the effective cause for the creation, maintenance, and destruction, but in fact, you are transcendental to all limitations and are therefore known as unlimited. On your thousands of hoods rest the innumerable global spheres like grains of mustard, so insignificant that you have no perception of their weight. The Bhagavatam further says, 5:25-2, Yasyedam Kshitimandalam Bhagavata Anantamurte Sahasra Sirasa Ekasmin Eva Shirshani Dhriyamanam Siddhartha Eva Lakshyate. Lord Anantadeva has thousands of hoods. Each sustains a global sphere that appears like a grain of mustard. Text 120. Stetananta Shesha Bhakta Avatar Ishwarera Seva Vina Nahi Jane Ar Seta, that Ananta, Lord Ananta, Shesha, the incarnation, Shesha, Bhakta Avatara, incarnation of a devotee, Ishwarera Seva, the service of the Lord, Vina, without, Nahi, not, Jane, knows, Ara, anything else. Translation. That Ananta Shesha is the devotee incarnation of Godhead. He knows nothing but service to Lord Krishna. Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami in his Krishna Sandarbha has described Sheshanaga as follows. Sri Ananta Deva has thousands of faces and is fully independent. Always ready to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he waits upon him constantly. Sankarsana is the first expansion of Vasudeva, and because he appears by his own will, he is called Svarat, fully independent. He is therefore infinite and transcendental to all limits of time and space. He himself appears as the thousand-headed Shesha. In the Skanda Purana, in the Ayodhya Mahatmya chapter, the demigod Indra requested Lord Shesha, who was standing before him as Lakshmana, please go to your eternal abode, Vishnu Loka, where your expansion Shesha with his serpentine hoods is also present. After dispatching Lakshmana to the regions of Patala, Lord Indra returned to his abode. This quotation indicates that the Sankarsana of the quadruple form descends with Lord Rama as Lakshmana. When Lord Rama disappears, Shesha again separates himself from the personality of Lakshmana. Shesha then returns to his own abode in the Patala regions, and Lakshmana returns to his abode in Vaikuntha. The Laghu Bhagavatamrita gives the following description. The Sankarsana of the second group of quadruple forms appears as Rama, taking with him Shesha, who bears the global spheres. There are two features of Shesha. One is the bearer of the globes, and the other is the bedstead servitor. The Shesha who bears the globe is a potent incarnation of Sankarsana, and therefore he is sometimes also called Sankarsana. The bedstead feature of Shesha always presents himself as an eternal servitor of the Lord. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhaktisiddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Bhagavad Vandanam Kadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadati Visheshataha Adadana Strinam Danteridam Yache Punaha Punaha Srimadrupa Padam Bhoja Dhulishyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavatosmyaham Sadadaso Asmi Sarvata Tatkripa Pikshako Nityam Tat Preshta Sadkaromi Svam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityānanda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Recently, I saw a video from Oroville, California, where Bhakti Ran Singh has a very nice temple, very nice facility, and somebody donated a Murti of Srila Prabhupada, life-size Murti of Srila Prabhupada. Very, very auspicious, very, very transcendental good sign for the preaching in Oroville, California. I noticed recently there was a lot of postings with regards to the anniversary, the 50th anniversary, of the opening of the Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan, India. Somebody asked me recently, well, why didn't you go? For one thing, I was not invited. I don't know if I'm very welcome with that crowd over there, but separate from this point, there were some very interesting stories circulating amongst different devotees, different testimonies, and different statements by different devotees, all glorifying Srila Prabhupada and the history of that temple. There was a very interesting development in 1973, how this temple, at least the collections for the temple, came about. What happened is that Guru Kripa Swami and myself, my lowly self, we went to preach all over North America, especially in America, collecting for the construction of the Krishna Balaram temple. So we had a few brahmacharis. What happened is that Korandar, after the Mayapur festival in 1973, sent us tickets to go back from India to America. So we got somewhere or other, they provided us with a van, and we started to preach. Went to the various states, middle states, northeastern states in America, collecting funds for the construction of the temple. Now, it was pretty grueling for several months. We lived in a van, cooking khichdi, taking cold baths very early in the morning, and the brahmacharis were going out all day collecting. So this went on, and then what happened is we had gotten a money order for Srila Prabhupada, like a cashier's check, something in the neighborhood of $70,000 US. That was collected within a few months. So we ended up in Miami in December of 1973, and we got a letter that was read to us over the phone. Somebody was mentioning to bury the hatchet, because when we were in India, we had some issues and concerns about the relationship we had with a certain manager or devotee that was there. We had some difficulties with that individual. So what happened is we went back from Miami, Florida, and arrived in Los Angeles on the 31st of December, 1973. We went in Srila Prabhupada's room, and Prabhupada welcomed us in his room. And Prabhupada says, oh, I heard a lot about you too. He says, they have all come to complain to me. All these GBCs and temple presidents that you've gone in their zones and collected and did not give them the money. Prabhupada said, just like my godbrothers, I came to your country, I preached here, I didn't do anything to them, but they became envious. And Prabhupada says, just see, you have done this. I'm trying to cut. Prabhupada says, I'm trying to get some funds for the Krishna Balaram temple. They will not give. Prabhupada said, they all became envious. I was like, what? So then Prabhupada says, but you should come to the temple. You should do kirtan and give lectures and lead kirtan. Says, because these temples are I am ISKCON. Prabhupada actually told that statement directly to me. He says, why don't you like to go there? And I started to cry. Literally, I said, Prabhupada, it's not that I don't like to go. Then Guru Kripa raised his hand. Says, Prabhupada, let me just explain here what's really going on here. And he gave a whole explanation of, because we had gone to Bangalore in the summer of 1972. We were the first devotees in the movement who went there with 2 brahmacharis and a massive amount of books. We were living on the floor in a dharmshala in Gandhinagar, and we kept collecting and sending the money for the construction of the temple. So as part of this discussion with Srila Prabhupada, Guru Kripa then explained to Prabhupada everything that we had been through in India. And then Prabhupada said, oh yes, I have noticed this individual devotee always tries to be number one. Says, that is not our philosophy. Prabhupada says, our philosophy is Gopi Bhartuhu Padakamalayor Dasa Dasa Anudasa. To simply become the servant of the servant of the servant. Not this idea that simply I'll be number one. And Prabhupada said, he's not a Vaishnava, he's not a Vaishnava. I was like, we both looked at one another and say, what? So then Prabhupada said, okay, you don't say anything. I'll take care of this. I will handle this. You both of you don't say anything. So as part of the conversation, then Prabhupada said, from now on, you can be my personal Samkirtan party. Whatever you collect, you can send directly to my account. So then Guru Kripa made a very amazing statement. He said, Prabhupada, I'm going to build that Krishna Balaram temple for you. And my jaw just dropped. I looked at him like, what did you say? And factually, eventually he did. By his determination and his very strong desire to please Srila Prabhupada, he somewhere or other has got it done. And the reason I'm telling this story is that very few people understand the tremendous level of austerities and difficulties that we had to undergo with the Namahata party to get the funds to collect for that temple. Now, I was there between 73, 74, and part of 75. Guru Kripa stayed on 75, 76, and part of 77. And then in mid-75, I went to South India with Nityānanda and Mahamsa Swami to collect for the Madan Mohan temple that was being constructed in Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh, central India. So the reason I'm telling this story is that when we were in Japan, there was a lot of difficulties there, a lot of austerities. We were living very, very meager, trying to save every penny, every yen, the local currency, to send to Prabhupada for the construction of the temple. So Prabhupada, some way or other, was pleased. And after that incident, Guru Kripa asked Prabhupada, oh, can I have your chudder, Prabhupada? Prabhupada took his chudder right off his bag and said, there you have it. I raised my hand, well, can I have something too? And Prabhupada said, oh, you're envious now? You want something? Oh, I told Prabhupada, I'm always envious and desiring for your mercy. I said, you come tomorrow morning, I'll give you something. So the point is that the reason I'm telling this story is that Guru Kripa took the lead in organizing the Namahata party to collect the funds for that temple. That temple did not fall from the sky. It was a lot of work, but it was very satisfying transcendental service for His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. And we're very happy to have done that. Because I know that there's a lot of devotees. Because let me just give another example. In 1974, we were taking a walk around the Radharaman temple in Vrindavan. There is a small alley that goes between the Radharaman temple and the Radha Damodar temple area. So what happened is Srila Prabhupada stopped, and one devotee said, oh, there was some problem in Japan. There was some reports that some devotees did this, did that. And Prabhupada stopped and stared at that person, that devotee, and says, my disciples, at least they have a temple in Japan that they have started, they maintain. Those who are criticizing, what have they done in Japan? Have they started a temple? And Prabhupada was not very happy to hear the criticism. The point is that, it's like it says in the Bhagavad Gita, behind every endeavor, there's some degree of fault, just like there's always some smoke whenever there's fire. So there's just like we have our preaching program, and some people will engage in some criticism, sometimes quite vicious. Oh, these two are criticizing the devotees, they're doing this, they're doing that. Okay. No, what we're doing is trying to fact-finding to ascertain the proper way of following and worshiping Srila Prabhupada. And one of the points that we repeatedly preach is not to change Srila Prabhupada's teachings, not to adulterate his teachings, not to change the program, the processes, the kirtan, the books, everything he's given. That should be preserved. Otherwise, after we're all gone, it's going to be a complete cotton picking mess. It still is like that now. So we're attempting to restore some sanity, to refocus on Srila Prabhupada. In the middle 1970s, there was a letter that was issued by Srila Prabhupada, where Prabhupada said, if there is any problems in our movement, it means that the instructions of the spiritual master are being neglected, unquote. Now, this is a very important point, because we do know at different times in the history of our movement that there were attempts to water down the philosophy, to change the standards that Prabhupada gave. In 1972, there was a very nice letter that Prabhupada wrote to Sudama Maharaj, where they had started a yoga roadshow, a traveling roadshow. And Prabhupada stopped this traveling roadshow. This will give the wrong impression. Prabhupada said, just focus on kirtan, reading from Bhagavad Gita, distribute prasadam, kirtan with kartal and mridangas. This was Prabhupada's instruction, because the tendency to adulterate, to water down the standard, to compromise the standard given by Srila Prabhupada is very strong. Because as part of this program, we've often mentioned that we see certain type of kirtans that have been introduced that were not given or implemented by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, if you go on the website called causelessmercy.com, all the different kinds of kirtans and bhajans that Prabhupada ever did are all recorded there. And it's very interesting when you look at the chanting of the Maha Mantra, the original kirtan in 1966, when Prabhupada started his preaching in New York. There was a very specific way that Prabhupada introduced the kirtan. Now, of course, people may say, well, Prabhupada said that there's no hard and fast rules. It says in the Shikshastakam that anybody can chant any tune. Yes, Prabhupada was many times was very liberal and very kind in encouraging people to chant Hare Krishna, to everything, but he wanted to remain and keep the standards. And this is very important. Oh, here we go. This is a letter to Sudama written from Vrindavan on November 5th, 1972. My dear Sudama, please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated October 27th, 1972, and I have noted the contents carefully. So far, the roadshow and this yoga village are concerned, these things should be stopped. Simply perform our kirtan. If we divert our attention in this way, the whole thing will gradually deteriorate. He is going far away. All these things are nonsense inventions. Such inventing spirit will ruin this movement. People may come to see, some will become devotees, but such devotees will not stay because they're attracted by some show and not by the real thing or spiritual life according to the standard of Lord Chaitanya. Our standard is to have kirtan, start temples. What is this roadshow and yoga village? It will be another hippie edition. Gradually, the Krishna conscious idea will evaporate. another change, every day another change. Stop all this. Simply have kirtan, nothing else. Don't manufacture ideas. Hoping this meets you in good health. Your ever well-wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. So this is a very important point, because I know we keep recycling this point again and again, but some people never get it. They are so addicted to this change disease that they do not see the point. They do not understand the importance of not compromising and changing Srila Prabhupada's standards, whether it's the original books, original kirtan, the original way of offering the bhoga, the original way of offering arti. They want to manufacture different interpretations to justify what they're doing, what to speak of the initiation issue and so many other issues. Now, why are we discussing with this? This is very important, because some devotees have got some kind of idea, and this has been argued to me several times. Oh, Prabhupada appointed certain individuals to manage the movement. Therefore, whatever they say, that should be followed. Well, whatever they say, if it's according to Prabhupada's instructions, this is not a carte blanche or simply an open check that they can do anything and everything, and everybody should just accept. We've seen that interpretation before. We've seen this, how damaging this can be. This becomes a dictatorial, authoritarian mentality. Prabhupada is the authority in this movement, the supreme authority. He still is. That's why when they published the Nectar of Devotion in 1970 in Los Angeles in July, the book, when they opened the book, it fell apart. And Prabhupada noticed they had put his name founder. Prabhupada said, no, you always put Founder-Ācārya. Always put the name, because Prabhupada is always the founder and the current Acharya of his society. Now, some will not accept that. They will claim, well, Prabhupada is not physically here. How can be the Acharya? That was Prabhupada's desire to remain as the Acharya. That was Prabhupada's order for him to remain as the Acharya. Now, we've often discussed this point before. Many people say, well, Prabhupada is dead and gone. He's not here. He's not available. Therefore, you need some physically present representatives. Yes, physically present representatives would always be there. But in what context? In what position? In what specific capacity? That has to be understood. That is why Prabhupada was not very eager to have impudent imitators, because he knew what will be the result. In the Upadeshamrita, the Nectar of Instruction, there's a very ominous warning where Srila Prabhupada says, if one imitates the Mahabhagavata without being self-realized, eventually he will become degraded. This is a very stark warning by Srila Prabhupada. Now, it should be noted, Prabhupada didn't say very soon or immediately. No. Prabhupada says eventually, because we see that the result of this impudent imitation is not very good. One should follow submissively the Acharya, hear from the Acharya, follow the instruction of the Acharya in a humble and modest way, and in this way, one will meet eventual success. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for the wonderful pastimes that you explained to us this evening. And it's interesting to note how people are always looking for some kind of public recognition, especially when it comes to music. Because a musician gets a chance to stand in front of hundreds, thousands, millions of people and be glorified. And people, Prabhupada explains like that, people see that and they want to imitate them. That's exactly what he's told us. They want to imitate these people so they can feel themselves significant in this world of names. I've had experience like that, playing hundreds of gigs for people in the local Hamilton area, and everybody comes up and wishes they could be a guitar player. Oh, I want to be a guitar player. Why do you want to be a guitar player? It's a terrible life. It's very difficult. Very few people make it in that industry. So, like that, nowadays, people join the ISKCON movement. They want to become kirtan celebrities. And you see it. Just today, I saw a post from some lady. Oh, I'm happy I'm doing these Zoom concerts worldwide for everybody. Thank you very much for supporting me. Not a mention of the meaning of the holy name, not mentioning the meaning of the disciplic succession and the pure devotee A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Without that, there's nothing, everyone. It's zero. You do things like this to try to imitate people that are so-called trying to be another Vishnu John. This is a big mistake by people. And it's petty, very petty, Ram Raghava. So, Yaśodā-nandana is right. This movement has been completely destroyed by the whimsical behavior of our God brothers. That's what's happened. And that is Prabhupada's experience directly with his God brothers. Exactly his quote, due to the whimsical behavior of a few, the great mission of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami was destroyed. And now, this mission has been destroyed, and our effort is to restore it to truth. Yes, and we're doing that. We're working at it anyway. How we're going to make out, that's up to Krishna, to Prabhupada, to Lord Chaitanya, and to all of you who help us and support it. We're writing a new guide to self-realization. And I've been blessed with the opportunity to write the preface to the books. Oh, yes. And I thought I'd read the last section of it this evening so you get an insight into what the topic is. This guide provides a description of the Holy Lands in India, where the pastimes of the various incarnations of Lord Krishna have appeared and blessed this sacred country of India with transcendental knowledge. Oh yes, Indian people have a great responsibility, as you know, to preach the truth to others. We have included articles on Guru Tattva and quotes from Shastra or Scripture to support our position. It is not a matter of our opinion, it is a matter of facts. We are not fault finders, but fact finders. We've explained the significance of initiation and the difference between Vani and Vapu. We stress the understanding that Vani is more important than Vapu. The qualifications one must meet to become a qualified Prabhupada disciple through the Ritvik system of initiation are outlined. We are Prabhupada disciples, not Ritviks or Prabhupada-nugas. We have included all the written introductions to the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Caitanya-caritāmṛta by Srila Prabhupada that will give you a background on the books you will want to purchase and study in your effort to become self-realized. The books Srila Prabhupada wrote and published while he was present with us are his gift to humanity. Yes, he declared his books would be the law books of mankind for the next 10,000 years. Yes, the proof of the pudding is in the tasting, and the proof of their transcendental potency is in the reading. Here are some further quotes from Srila Prabhupada to support the principle of Vani, sound over Vapu, personal association. Physical presence, Prabhupada says, is immaterial. Presence of the transcendental sound received from the spiritual master should be the guidance of life. That will make our spiritual life successful. If you feel very strongly about my absence, you may place my pictures on my sitting places, and this will be the source of inspiration for you. That's a letter from Srila Prabhupada, January 19th, 1967. We should associate by vibration, not by physical presence. That is real association. Srila Prabhupada lecture, the 18th of August, 1968. It is sometimes misunderstood that if one has to associate with persons engaged in devotional service, he will not be able to solve the economic problem. To answer this argument, it is described here that one has to associate with liberated persons, not directly physically, but by understanding through philosophy and logic the problems of life. Srimad Bhagavatam 331:48, the purport. Quote, there are two conceptions, the physical conception and the vibrational conception. The physical conception is temporary. The vibrational conception is eternal. And let me turn the page here. Let's hope we don't get confused. And of course we do. Just 1 second, everyone. Separation from Krishna or the spiritual master, we should try to remember their words and instructions. And we no longer feel that separation. Such association with Krishna and the spiritual master should be association by vibration and not physical presence. That is real association. And this is from the Elevation to Krishna Consciousness, BBT 1973 edition, page 57. Quote, but always remember that I am always with you. As you are always thinking of me, I'm always thinking of you also. Although physically we are not together, we are not separated spiritually. So we should be concerned only with this spiritual connection. Srila Prabhupada, a letter, the 13th of November, 1969. Quote, Srila Prabhupada, there are two ways of association, by Vani and Vapu. Vani means words and Vapu means physical presence. Physical presence is sometimes appreciable and sometimes not, but Vani continues to exist eternally. Therefore, one must take advantage of the Vani, not the physical presence. And this is from Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Ancha Lila 5, the conclusion. The books, I'll read a bit more. The books of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda are a treasure house of knowledge for all serious students of self-realization. By meticulously studying his books and strictly following the practice of bhakti yoga he outlines in its pages, we guarantee the student to go back to Godhead. Krishna also promises in the Bhagavad Gita his devotees will be delivered from this material world of misery and suffering through service and surrender. We recommend only studying the unadulterated and unedited books of A.C. Bhaktivedanta and no others. Prabhupada also wrote an estimated 6,587 letters and recorded 2,400 lectures to provide us disciples with an abundance of direction on how to follow the process of bhakti yoga. Unfortunately, many of our God brothers ignore these instructions and don't read. So that's part of the preface to our upcoming guide. And I know that many of you will be excited when this comes out and we clear the air of all the misinformation that's been caused by our God brothers in the ISKCON movement. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Let's move forward with a section of our program, which is the review of the unauthorized biography of Srila Prabhupada by Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu and a group of devotees that he's working with to illuminate us in this understanding of what has gone on to mislead people since Prabhupada's departure. Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, please.
Well, thank you for this summary of the introduction or preface to the upcoming book. One thing is that this is an important point. Various devotees have, over the years, have asked me the question, this Lilamrita, is there any documented letter or audio tape where Prabhupada told any devotee in this movement to write a biography about him? And the reason I'm mentioning this, and it's been discussed before, because many devotees have brought up the point, if Prabhupada did not give any specific instruction to any devotee to write a biography, why was there a biography written? I realize that there is always the urge from many devotees, they want to know about Prabhupada's life and his activities. But when we look in Prabhupada's books and we study his books and the conversations and letters, he describes his life, where he was born, how he was raised, his father, his family, his starting the Rath Yatra festival, his going to school, and his meeting of his Guru Maharaj, the beginning of his preaching. Everything is described. Just like in the earlier part of this program, Vishwakarma Prabhu was reading from the diary, some conversation where Prabhupada was explaining his early transcendental activities in New York. Everything is described there. There was no need to have a separate biography of Srila Prabhupada. And that's why we spent some time correcting some of the misconceptions that have been introduced by this so-called Lilamrita. We're reading from section number 2, page number 3. And the issue comes, was Srila Prabhupada in awe of his teachers? The Lilamrita says that His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, felt mundane awe, admiration, and tension towards and in relation to karmis. From the Lilamrita, book number 1, page 24. But to Abai, Calcutta and the British were not alarming, and even held a certain fondness for his Scottish teachers. Although he looked up to them with a mixture of awe, distance, and some tension, he admired their moral uprightness and their gentlemanly, courteous behavior with the boys. Webster Dictionary defines awe as fearful veneration inspired by something sacred. The Shastra, however, tells us that the pure devotee never has a high regard for atheistic teachers, no matter what their so-called good qualities are. From Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 8, text number 5. A devotee does not care for the instruction of the asuras. When they give instructions, he remains silent. A devotee cares about the instructions of Krishna, not those of demons or non-devotees. He does not give any respect to a demon, even though the demon be his father. According to Shastra, neither does the pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada make bodily distinctions, which are always based on ephemeral high and low positions. In the Caitanya-caritāmṛta Adilila, chapter 4, text 31, In the material world, we are situated in designated positions only, but pure devotional service begins when one is freed from all designations. When love of Krishna is awakened, then the designated positions are overcome. Division in quality of a highly advanced person. Prabhupada explains in Caitanya-caritāmṛta Madhya Lila, chapter 10, text 54. Those who are highly advanced in spiritual understanding do not care about a person's material condition. A spiritually advanced person sees the spiritual identity of every living being, and consequently he makes no distinction between a learned Brahmana, a dog, a Chandala, or anyone else. He is not influenced by the material body, but sees a spiritual identity. Caitanya-caritāmṛta Madhya Lila, chapter 10, text 54. Then we have Srila Prabhupada explaining from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, chapter 3, text number 7. Devotees are equal to everyone, seeing no distinction between lower and higher classes. Pandita samadarshinaha. They look upon everyone as spirit soul who is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Such preachers in Krishna consciousness are called Paramahamsas. Although respectful to all living entities, Bhagavad Gita 5.18, a pure devotee doesn't view karmi teachers as actually being superior or more educated than the others. They are all ignorant, being devoid of Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada explains in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, chapter 5, text 24. The Bhaktivedantas are impartial in distributing the transcendental knowledge of devotional service. To them, no one is enemy or friend. No one is educated or uneducated. No one is favorable or unfavorable. Hare Krishna, back to you in the studio. Hare Krishna.
Very enlightening understanding of the via media representative of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami. So we stress this principle because it's the foundation of everyone's spiritual life in this group. And I also want to mention people that refuse to accept this. That is blasphemy. It is a very serious offense. And even though people may minimize it due to mental speculation or sentimentality, these are serious offenses to disobey the instruction of the spiritual master, just like blasphemy. Blasphemy is not a small thing. It's very serious. A Brahmin never curses another man. Never. It's a principle of Brahminical life. You don't curse. But who curses them? They curse themselves. You commit offenses, you're the one that suffers the offense, not the person you offend. So everyone has to be careful on the path back home, back to Godhead, not to commit hatimata, the offense against devotees who have dedicated their lives to the mission of their guru, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda. Ram Raghava. Could I say Dr. Ram? Dr. Ram? No. Ram Raghava, very humble Vaishnava and extremely educated in the material world, that's for sure. And also in the spiritual realm, a very astute student. Prabhu, what's the latest from YouTube report and any question for Yaśodā-nandana from you this evening? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the wonderful class and the descriptions. There are 9 people watching on YouTube live stream. And no questions, but a couple of them are very appreciative of the early recollections by both you and Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, and they appreciate the early recollections of the times in ISKCON and interactions with Srila Prabhupada. So I thought I would pass that along.
We love
Question I
that.
do have.
Go ahead, please. Please go ahead.
Question I do have is regarding the letter we read to Sudama Maharaj. So I've
Yeah.
noticed when I go every once in a while, every few months, I like to go to one of the ISKCON temples and just see what's going on.
Okay.
Plus, my son lives in Los Angeles.
Oh.
So I noticed at places there are devotees who are members of ISKCON, and they're doing these yoga, teaching these yoga classes. And there, I noticed at the Rath Yatra in Los Angeles, they have a whole booth with yoga. They're just practicing asanas and things like that. Sometimes not very properly dressed for women, but so their justification is, and I thought I could ask one of you for comments. Their justification is that many people would not come in touch with Krishna consciousness, but they're interested in Hatha Yoga, so they're teaching these Hatha Yoga classes, trying to get them interested in Krishna consciousness. So what do we say, or what is our proper understanding about that kind of indirect teaching?
I don't see Yaśodā here, but I'll give a quick response for you. It is called bridge preaching. Bridge. And this was introduced many years ago. It was actually in the 70s. I recall that they were trying, after Prabhupada's departure, to introduce bridge preaching to bring more followers into the organization. Of course, the organization had become the zonal Acharya system, if you recall. So it was based on building disciples for the individual people that were claiming to be guru. So fundamentally, that was the motivation behind this bridge preaching. They concocted it. It was concocted to facilitate bringing more followers. Now, the question is, are these processes bona fide according to Prabhupada? Yaśodā-nandana, and he'll come back and speak. Yaśodā-nandana did explain about these programs that Radha Damodar started, where there would be music and festivals and some kind of bridge preaching program. And Prabhupada said, stop that. Don't do that. Our program is simple. Dance, chant, hear the philosophy, and distribute prasadam, and let people take up the process of devotional service without any adulteration, without any change. So this is the way to preach. And another point is a lot of these ISKCON guru people, they wear this Ralph Lauren clothes, with the golfer on the thing, or the Lacoste look. I'm a fashion man, so I look at it. Oh yeah, okay. Krishna was a fine dresser. And they start to talk about philosophy, something like Joel Osteen, the Christian preacher from Texas who lives in a $10 million mansion. Or they preach like Anthony Robbins, a famous motivational speaker in America who makes millions of dollars by this. So we call it the guru business. That's as simple as it is. You could say you're a fault finder. I know business. I've lost a lot of money in business. I've made some, but I lost more. The guru business is a good business. Just think about it, Ram Raghava. A person joins the movement in modern day terms. They get introduced to a person who's not bona fide and represented as good as God. That's what they say. that the guru is good as God. And then they sign over their inheritance to this guru for his private bank account. So all of a sudden, he goes from no money to $10 million overnight. And he doesn't report it because it's a donation. The guru business. Very interesting. Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, if you can further explain the question or the point.
I just want to point out something. I don't believe that the Radha Damodar party with Vishnu John and a late secretary were the people who introduced. This was in 1972.
Okay.
What we were reading earlier with some other devotees. I mean, the tendency to start these separate new manufactured programs was there. And what Prabhupada was trying to tell the devotees, don't do that. Just do the proper standard that I've taught you. The one thing is that what I find, because I get a lot of different devotees contacting me and asking me questions, just like I've been contacted recently by some devotees in Tokyo, Japan, wanting to know the real story of what we discussed today, of how the program for the Krishna Balaram temple started. In other words, because we've all discussed, we all know the story of how Sudama Prabhu at that time in Los Angeles in 1970, Srila Prabhupada was looking for someone to go to Japan to push the movement forward. So Srila Prabhupada asked one of his personal servants to go to Japan. And the personal servant went to Srila Prabhupada and told him that I prefer to remain with you at your service. Prabhupada says, that is fine. So when Sudama heard this, he volunteered. He went to Srila Prabhupada and volunteered. Oh, Srila Prabhupada, I'll go to Japan for you. I'll go and work in Japan. And Prabhupada was very pleased with him. So what happened is Prabhupada personally taught Sudama how to cook samosas. These stories were related to me directly by Sudama before he departed in 1994. So what happened is the day that he was going to leave for the Los Angeles International Airport to fly to Tokyo, he went to see Srila Prabhupada, paid his obeisances, and Prabhupada embraced him. And Srila Prabhupada told him, for you to volunteer to go to Japan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will come to you at the time of death and personally bring you back to Godhead. It was a special benediction. So it was like this was one of the very, very important pioneers of the preaching in Japan, Sudama. I believe that Bali Mardan was also there for some time, but Sudama did some, because you have to remember, in order to stay in Japan in those days, we just got some visas, some tourist visas. We stayed for some time, renewed the visas. So by 1973, there was, the new devotees were starting to go there and everything. So, but anyway, these devotees in Tokyo wanted me to speak about the whole history, that as far as I know. So we're going to have a special session, I believe, at 3 o'clock or 3:30 on Saturday from some devotees in Japan. Somebody is arranging for the link and everything. So I'm going to tell various stories, including but not limited to the story we discussed today, about when Guru Kripa promised Prabhupada, I'll build that temple for you. And even Prabhupada was a little amused when Guru Kripa told him the story, because I looked at Guru Kripa like, what did you just say? But he was serious about it. He was like very, very determined to get that temple built, whatever may have been the motivation. And some way or other, he got it done. I was just fortunate to be able to render a little bit of service along the way. Same thing in South India with Achyutananda and Mahamsa Swami. So I don't know if the link is going to be circulated to everybody. I think that Rupa Goswami in Mumbai is arranging with some devotees in Japan for this program. I was just woken up. Somebody woke me up at 4:15 today. I was up already, but the phone rings. I'm chanting japa, and all of a sudden, oh, this is so-and-so from Japan. Could you speak about what you know about the Namata party and how it was the collections for Japan. I said, okay, we'll make arrangements. So that's basically all I have to say for now.
Oh, there's one more thing. Thank you very much for the answer about the yoga teaching within ISKCON. Along the same line, one Bhaktin Patricia Mataji has a question about that also. She says, sometimes I think about quitting my nursing job and work as a yoga teacher. What are your thoughts on that, Prabhus? I just wonder if it would be a more sattvic occupation.
Okay, I had an experience today, a very interesting experience with a devotee from Germany who was interested in preaching. Okay, fair enough. Now, he was talking to me about the requirements of the government for setting up a corporation or a company to operate, because you have to have a legal status. And this relates to Patricia. And by the way, Patricia, I do want to speak to you tomorrow. I have some work for you and your husband in Montreal, but that's on another note. But anyway, I was speaking to this fellow in Germany, and we were talking about membership. In order for a person to set up an organization in Germany, you have to have 7 members. Okay, 7 members that are committed to that organization. Okay, so fine. So I asked him, well, how many people do you have? And the answer was that there were only a few people interested right now. So this is the point, Patricia. You want to increase your preaching work, fair enough. And the first step is try to get some people who you're dealing with now to become interested in taking up the process and start. And then build from there, step by step by step. 1 person, 2 persons, 3 persons, 4 persons, till you get to the momentum where there's a need for you to set up a Bhakti Yoga Center, which will teach people the correct process of devotional service according to the Vani principles that we're expounding in our classes. Yes. And this is the way to do it, not necessarily quit your job. I have a friend who's a pharmacist, and what she does every day, Ram Raghava, she tells me the same thing. I want to quit my job. I hate what I do because the pharmaceutical industry is so evil. They don't cure people, they keep them sick, and then they keep charging them drugs, and everybody is on drugs. Everybody. I was talking to a fellow here at my ashram here in Hamilton. And I said, how are you doing? He's in bad health. He goes, well, I went to the doctor and they recommended drugs, but I refused to take them. And then he continued to explain to me that everybody in the clinic is taking drugs. The nurses, the doctors, the patients, everybody's been prescribed some particular drug. And my friend, she can't stand it. She wants to quit. I told her, just stay where you are, because at least you have a job. Actually, it's a good job because it's booming. The drug industry is booming. Other industries are going down, but the drug industry is going up. Sounds like Prabhupada. All the other Gitas are going down, but ours is going up. That's exactly what he said. We're printing 50,000 Gitas coming up with Macmillan. So anyway, getting back to the story, Patricia, continue to preach, cultivate people. I'm working with a series of people. It's very difficult to get people to chant their rounds. It is. They can come to 1,000, hundreds of classes with us, And when you remind them, hey, maybe you should chant, who said that? What? Who said that? Are you kidding me? If it's not easy to have people swing over to the side of reality as opposed to illusion. But you can go ahead, work on it. When 2 is better than 1, 3 is better than 2, 4 is better than 3, 5 is better than 4. So this progressive progressive development of your group is the key to where you should go in your life. And I said to my friend in Germany, I said, the first thing for you is to practice the principles and inspire people by your association, and they'll come. Krishna will arrange it. So I hope that helps. After all, you're doing a good job as a nurse. You're helping people. And you can continue to help people by preaching effectively in your occupation. There's always a chance to present Krishna consciousness to other people, always. And you just have to work enthusiastically that way, set a good example, and everybody will be attracted to you and what you believe in. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Ram Raghava, is that all right? Was that a good answer, or was I too tough?
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. No, that was very nice.
Yeah,
Very
a lot of
instructive.
people think I'm a tough guy. Like I start talking about the body being a bag of stool. People used to joke about that years ago with me. The bag is the body is a bag of blood, pus, stool, and oh, don't say that. Don't say that. It's not polite. Well, it's a fact. It's not a question of polite or sentimental. It's a fact that we are temporarily here. My experience directly with Gopal and Yotapek was just absolutely sad to see him deteriorate in front of my eyes. And my friend said, well, you've seen other people do. Yeah, but this one was fresh in my mind. I get up every day, I see Gopal lying on the bed there, and it's like, I have to get on with my rounds and my study and the reading of the Krishna book, which we're doing. Go Yaśodā-nandana. Maybe you could wind up the show today for us.
Are there any other comments or questions, or I missed a little bit? I have to attend something outside.
No, Patricia asked a question. We gave the answer. So we'll move forward with the kirtan. And this is a 2-minute and 54-second experience of transcendental sound of a real Vaishnava singing the authentic bhajans. Yes, or kirtan.
With regards to Patricia's question, in my humble estimation, it might be best if she just stays in her nursing job. Because what happened is that the yoga field, while it looks very enticing and somewhat promising, it may be a better steady occupation to work as a nurse, because I've seen many devotees in America trying to do this kind of hatha yoga and kundalini yoga, and Prabhupada did not encourage devotees to really do that, to end up becoming yoga teachers. Now, you can become a bhakti yoga teacher, a mantra yoga teacher. That's what you can have classes with that. But as far as quitting your current, I mean, I don't know what your personal situation is. You can discuss that with your husband, but it may be best you just stay in the same occupation. As a matter of fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends that in his discussion with Ramananda Roy, to remain in whatever occupation you have and hear the Srimad Bhagavatam from a self-realized devotee. That's basically what we're trying to tell people in this program. There's no need for some major change. And you can occasionally give bhakti yoga classes, mantra yoga classes. That would be fine. Just
well, you used to come to the Hamilton Center. You came here and spoke. I have a photograph, everyone, of Yaśodā-nandana here with 18 people at my living room. And I ran a program for years and years here. And it was quite enlivening and somewhat successful for the time and place. So you can always have a program. You can always invite people over for prasadam. You can invite them over on the Sunday morning to attend the Srimad Bhagavatam class or the Saturday for the Gita class. We're recommending people do that at their places, is broadcast these programs, serve prasadam, let people come to the program, and then they can answer questions and answers and have a kirtan with the attendees wherever they are. So lots of ways, means, if you have any. And Patricia, like I said, I have some editing work that I need done. I'm working on this project with our group, the complete guide to self-realization, with a hope that new people will take up Krishna consciousness and not be confused by any ISKCON misinformation. The campaign to minimize Srila Prabhupada as Jagat Guru. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Let's move forward with the kirtan. 254. Please. Thank you. Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances. We all offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks everyone for participating in this lively program and discussion. We invite everybody to join us again on Saturday morning at 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time, corresponding to 10 a.m. Eastern Canada, Eastern United States, for the Srimad Bhagavad Gita discussion. Thanks Vishwakarma Prabhu in Hamilton, Ontario, Ram Raghava Prabhu and the beautiful Gaurnitai deities right behind his head, very nice, in Brighton, Georgia. Rochisa Devi Mataji in the Laurentides, Canada, dans la belle province. Michael Dillon in Yuba City, California. And Triloka Vijay in Alachua, Florida. Ron Singh with the beautiful Prabhupada deity in Oroville, California. And Bhaktin Patricia Teles in Montreal, Canada. Rupa Goswami in Mumbai, India, and everybody participating in this program. Your participation is greatly appreciated, including Forest Temple in Baja California, Cantadas in Trinidad, and everybody. Please join us again on Saturday morning and join us for the next minute or two with devotees from Jamaica chanting the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.